according to historians, according to museum experts, can see swords. These are, can I touch this?
Yeah.
Ernie, where are we today?
Oh, we are at the Atlanta History Center. President Trump signed an executive order called, and I want to read it right, Restoring Truth and Sanity in American History. And what that means is that federal museums, like the Smithsonian particularly, he wants them to change how they present history. We're in the middle of a changing of America. If you get one thing out of the story, what's happening with this executive order is concrete proof that we're living in a different country.
Hey, shall we go through the secret door?
Yeah, let's go through. We have very fantastic museums here in Atlanta. Those museums are not federally funded, so they're not going to be impacted. That is amazing. However, because President Trump says he wants to get rid of improper ideology, that thinking and that mindset, according to historians, according to museum experts, can seep down into an American way of presenting history. Don't bump into the thing.
Museums have the real artifacts. They have the documents. They have the receipts. Trust the object. See what it tells you.
We've seen KKK drums, we've seen Confederate battlefields, we've seen Confederate armories. The Atlanta History Center is staying the course and telling the history in a true fashion.
It's an opportunity to give somebody a different perspective, not to change their mind, but to give them information that they may not have.
Right over there, the hats of the women of Martin Luther King Jr.'s family. So,
Which we've written a story.
which I wrote, sir. And you have the Hank Aaron exhibit over there, which is beautiful. What is that called? Duck lips. He was one of my first heroes. People fear that what this executive order does is kind of erase Black history, gay history, women's history. It erases the history of indigenous people. Some of the experts are saying that it can have longer term ramifications that can last generations.
When do you think we'll know how this will affect some of the current exhibits? Is it just going to take some time?
As you see with this White House, things have been going very quickly. So we just don't know. And these are swords. These are, can I touch this?
Yeah.
Ernie, where are we today?
Oh, we are at the Atlanta History Center. President Trump signed an executive.
Okay, now there's no mics.
Yeah, just use your mic.
My camera stopped and everything.
All right,
That
I'm having feedback.
okay. There is that. There is sound, Niele.
Cause these mics are. Okay, do it now. Speak.
Mic check 1 2 1 2.
They can hear you.
Oh, okay. All right, peace and love. We're having some technical difficulties, but we are working through. This is our second day together And we're just trying to figure out the audio situation. We may have to come back and go out and come back in, so just bear with us.
Okay.
We're going to restart, so stay with us.
Yes.
We thank you, Let It Be Known family, for dealing with us as we work through these technical difficulties. today. What shit?
Turn your.
Click on the other one. There we go. Oh, you have to unlock your phone.
All right.
Go ahead. We're live, I guess.
Sorry about that. Now there's an echo.
Okay, so we're gonna have to work through this. Here we are, folks. We apologize for this, but we were getting into the show and talking about homegrown and the whole Trump comment about homegrown caught on the hot mic. And it is a terrible, terrible situation in which he is now officially let the cat out of the bag.
He has. Oh, there's an echo. Okay. So keep going, Stacy.
All right. So, folks, if you've been under a rock, the El Salvadorian president visited the White House over the weekend and yesterday. And there was a moment in which they talked about the prisoner that is there illegally. Of course, the El Salvadorian president said that he's not going to release this individual, although he has no criminal record. He shouldn't be there. The Supreme Court has ordered him back. However, the conversation went on, and on a hot mic, Trump said, even the homegrown ones, American citizens. So it's everything that you may have feared and more about what's happening in America. And that's why when we talk about black card stuff, Obama got on my nerves. I'm not pulling his card officially, but I'm almost there.
Well, I mean, for me, this homegrown situation really terrifies me because it reminds me of slavery. You know, white folks, you know, bringing us over here to America. Now you got a white man ready to ship us off to another country where a lot of us don't speak Spanish. We speak English now because you took our native tongue. So now you want us, now you're telling us that if we do something wrong or if we do something right and you don't like it, you could have ICE come scoop us up, put us on a plane, take us to another country, and there's no recourse because Trump has trumped the Supreme Court and Congress. So everybody should really pay attention to what is happening right now because we thought we had hit a turning point, but this right here are going back to the days of slavery. Oppressed, disenfranchised, and people of color. So people beware.
This is why we can't be distracted too, because there was the whole Gail King and Lauren Sanchez and Bezos and all them going, 11-second trip to space or whatever. And I love the fact that Emily Ratajkowski, I guess is how you pronounce the model's name, and she went in on them. And I was 100% with her. I don't even pay attention to the woman, Emily Ratajkowski or whatever, but it came across my timeline and she went in on them, talking about with everything going on, this is what you decide to do.
Yeah, and on one hand, it's like, okay, we're talking about, we say 92%, we're living our, our best lives, not our problem. So I kind of, feel that way. But at the same time, it just seemed really tone deaf because it came from a space of like the 1%ers, right? The average person is not going to be able to afford to be able to go to space. Okay. And so if it's only for the rich of the rich, and I'm not talking about wealthy, I'm talking about the rich of the rich can only afford to go to space. And so it just seemed very tone deaf. And to your point, with so much going on, and Gail being a Black woman, being a journalist, it just missed the mark totally.
I was very tempted to say we need to pull Obama's Black card.
Why?
Because Barack Obama put out this long tweet yesterday because of the war between Trump and his alma mater, Harvard University. I could care less about Harvard's funding right now. Obama decides that's the issue he wants to step forth now and take a stand on.
Well, I mean, this is how really it works, though, Stacy. People begin to get enraged on things that resonate with them.
Okay.
So that's his alma mater, and that's one of his soapbox things. I can understand it. He's connected to that school. I would feel the same way if that happened to. Well, I feel that same way as I'm petrified for HBCUs.
Right.
I went to a HBCU, so he's connected to that. So I get it.
Oh, so he's not connected to the suffering of those who are losing their Medicaid, the Black folks who are losing SNAP benefits, the Black folks who getting help. He has not. He has not. He has not.
He spoke out about just the unequalness of what's happening in this country.
The guy is not president anymore. He doesn't have to toe the company line anymore. If he was, then why isn't he showing you he's for you?
What do you want him to do?
As forceful as he came out with that Russia's white institution.
It was a tweet, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Very forceful tweet. Very forceful. A whole paragraph. I have not seen him talk about this guy, this poor guy out in Maryland who they shipped to El Salvador. I have not heard him talk about anything Black or brown for that matter. But Lily White Harvard, he steps up. They even came, Harvard said, hey, take your funding, Trump. We got more than enough. We got our own money. So for him to come out like that, give me a break, Obama, you let us down again. You let people down again.
Well, I'm not that bothered by that.
I'm bothered.
Okay. Melissa Ford has a podcast called Hot and Bothered.
Yeah. Dr. Joni too is disagreeing with me, but that's okay.
Me too, Dr. Joni.
That's okay. Obama is a disappointment.
I wouldn't say
He's a disappointment.
That far.
I hope Michelle winds up dating 50 Cent. That's a serious shade.
50 Cent is one of the main ones that would go take funding and have lunch and a Diet Coke.
That's why I said I hope Michelle. He's the one. He's the one. Anyway.
Okay, yeah, let's move on.
And look, that's right. Obama showed up at Trump's. Not only did he show up at Trump's inauguration, right?
Well, we already know that.
What were they yucking it up at?
We already know that Barack Obama is concerned about his legacy. There is no question about it, and he likes to be the man of the people, not the man of Black people, so to say, but the man of people. So we know that, that's a good thing and it's a bad thing.
Oh boy. You know what? I'm gonna start calling him Hussein. He's losing his Black card for a minute.
I mean, hey, that is your opinion and yours alone.
I'm gonna start calling him Hussein. So anyway, so check this out though. It's even more so. So cleaning raw sewage now is a DE&I issue. Apparently, the Trump administration has decided that they are no longer down in Alabama, in a predominantly Black county in Alabama, where the previous administrations have did environmental cleanups, paid for environmental cleanups, that we're not doing it because of DE&I. And these Black folks down there are suffering with, we already, as Dr. Chavis said a long time ago, suffer with environmental racism. This continues that. How is cleaning raw sewage DE&I?
Because it's cleaning sewage for people of color. And so anything to disenfranchise, anything to double down on racist practices of the past, this administration is going to continue to double down and peel back and roll back. So to me, it's like you said, it is just the way that the blatant racism of this administration is just now, it's starting to boil like a bad pot of water.
How can a pot of water be bad?
Ask Trump.
Okay.
Only
on the good news side, is in the chat, Carmela Anthony was able to post bail. The judge, a Black woman judge, lowered his bail from $1 million to $250,000. And I thought it was very interesting when he was released. You had this white woman reporter yelling at him about how could it be were you there when he got out, when Kyle Rittenhouse was released, and did you put him?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that they did. I'm not defending what this reporter did. I'm not saying that it was fair, but I mean, there was a lot of criticism from media, from the public about what Kyle Rittenhouse did.
This kid is 17 years old, right, Carmelo? And to run up on him with like that, I'm so glad that he had people. And I'm so glad that he showed a lot of maturity by just ignoring this race baiting person, obvious race baiting person. I was so really proud of that kid. He kept walking to his car, got into his car, and they drove off. And she was left there with her anger stewing in her racism. It's disgusting. Speaking of reporters, I saw something out. I would love. I should have talked to Dawn about this. But you're a female reporter. The Atlanta Braves baseball team, the sideline reporter, went interviewing people in the stands, and he came across these two ladies, and he was hitting on them, asking them for their phone number during the broadcast. And the folks in the booth was encouraging him. Now, I saw a lot of feedback from women reporters on that who were not too thrilled with that, and making the point that if that was them asking a male for his number, they would have been fired. I agree with him. I think it's horrific that this reporter stooped to that level.
So it was a male reporter.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, it happens all the time. I mean,
it does. I've never seen that ever.
I'm just saying. I'm talking about just the act of men saying things, making comments. Yeah. I mean,
asking for the woman's.
I mean, asking for the number,
live,
asking for the number, or making provocative comments. It's to me, it's all this. Okay, ask for the number or make a provocative comment about somebody's appearance, or what you want to do. And sometimes you think it's funny, but I mean, it does happen a lot. I mean,
I've never seen that. I've been watching sports all my life, 50 some odd years.
Oh, well, I wasn't just talking about in the sport. I'm just saying
No, I'm
in
talking
general.
sports. During
Okay.
a live sport baseball broadcast, the reporter, the sideline reporter, egged on by the booth, and even he got the number too, and he was very proud of himself. That's just so, it's capital unprofessional. It's capital inappropriate, but it's privilege. That's all. The African American Association, the African American Americans Association, is going to be here in DC, starting tomorrow. Their conference, and yeah, look at the smile coming across her face.
Well, no, I think that I'm glad that the Black mayors, we've been talking a lot about what can we do, right? You say there's nothing, but there's a lot of us who believe that politics are going to be local and community now. And so to have these Black mayors come together to share ideas, to share practices that work, that don't work, to help, their cities, I think this is an important conference to have. I know, we have like Brandon Scott from Baltimore, one of the youngest and most brilliant minded mayors in the country. You have Mayor James T. Butts, who is in Inglewood, California, where I'm from, and he has the entertainment city in the country. I mean, he has two football teams, the Rams, the Chargers. He has the Los Angeles Clippers. He has the YouTube theater. And so you have Mayor Bass, who is being challenged right now, who might need some advice from some of these mayors. Question: do you think Mayor Eric Adams is going to show up?
That's a good question. I think he'll be here. But I want to just go back to Mayor Scott from Baltimore. He is a treat to talk to. I've had the opportunity to speak to him 2 or 3 times in person. He's an absolute treat.
He is. I always talk about the Black Millennial Convention, and we were at the African American Museum yesterday, and I ran across the Black Political Convention of 1972, where these young Black gifted and Black, Wes Bellamy, Brandon Scott, Leah Webb. We had Bree Maxwell on last week. They all came out of the Black Millennial Convention. So before he even ran for mayor, I was able to sit on panels with him and build with him. And so to watch the evolution of his career and him growing his beautiful family, I'm really hoping to connect with him tomorrow, just to get him on the show, but just to like let him know, like, so proud of you, bro. So proud of you.
Yeah, and very intelligent. Dr. Joni's asking, have they taken anything out of the museum yet? Not as of yet. Not anything significant. They did take Emmett Till's photo out of the casket.
No, it was there.
It was in the casket?
It was in the casket. Okay. But just basically before you could lean over the casket to see the picture, but now you're not able to, but the picture is still there. Okay. Yeah, it's still there. And like in the museum, sometimes some of the artifacts are removed because maybe the family only lent it to the museum for a certain amount of time, or maybe it had to go to another museum, but it is still intact. But the thought that Donald Trump doesn't want the Ku Klux Klan portion of the exhibit there, when the Ku Klux Klan is running rampant right now down south. It's like, how can you erase history when it's still being written? The racist practices of white people in this country, that's still being written. KKK, they having a meeting today in Kentucky. Okay. There are articles about flyers everywhere on cars. So what you're trying to erase? Oh, no. What they're trying to do is go back behind the hood, right? Because the whole premise of the KKK in the hoods were so that you wouldn't see them. And so they try to go back.
Like ICE.
Yeah. And so I
they
just...
all masked up.
And so yesterday, Stacy, we spoke to a lot of people,
white and Black, and it was the responses were very, very interesting. It was a lot of people there yesterday, in fact, and a lot of school kids were there as well, and just about, many, I'll put it that way, had heard about what's going on, understand what's going on, and wanted to make sure that they see it before it goes away. That was the sentiment that we kept getting. That they needed to see it before it actually goes away.
And I think Greer brought up, our producer brought up a really good point. You know, just having the conversations with, you know, different people, different races, you know, how we see things are different from how they see things. And you know, it just resonated with me. I don't know if it's a bad thing, but our history, we feel it a little different. You know, they're on the outside looking in, or they're looking at it from a white perspective or an Asian perspective. So their interpretation is totally different.
Yes, because the one lady, white lady, said that it was in disarray or something. What did she say? She said it wasn't.
It didn't follow a path.
It was, and yet she started upstairs on what,
the fourth floor. Yeah.
And I mentioned to her, well, maybe she should have started in the basement. And her, and I guess that was her husband with her, they didn't quite get it.
Right. But then we also ran into some nice, young, intelligent Black men. They might have just 20, 25 or younger. They started at the fourth floor. And they worked their way down. But their perception and their experience was totally different from the white people who started at the same floor they did. But it was just a totally different experience.
But to their credit, the couple that we're talking about, the white couple we're talking about, to their credit, both said that there's no American history without Black history, and they would not like to see anything happen to that museum. But we're gonna be bringing you more on that as this week moves forward. You'll see we'll take you inside the museum, and you'll be able to see a lot of the people we spoke to and a lot of what's going on in there. So stay tuned to let it be known for that. And the Black Press will also do a news article on that as well. A few more. We'll probably continue to do news articles on it going forward, because it's
right. And if you haven't, I beg you to book a flight. Yeah, I beg you, book a flight, come to DC. The Smithsonian African American Museum of Culture and History is something that will change. It's life changing, because you know, you start from 1400, you know, with the inception of the slave trade. So it's not just about the United States, but how the slave trade impacted the entire world. It gives you down to the detail of how many slaves each state had once, you know, we were colonized. It even has the different currencies, like it. And every time I go, I learn something new. Like yesterday, the currency. I didn't know that different states had their own currency. So it is a history lesson. It'll make you cry. It'll make you rejoice. But every time I leave there, I am so glad that God decided to make me a Black child.
So one of the cabins that they have down in there, I'm thinking like, look in there, right? And I bumped my head on the glass, not realizing it was glass there. And I say that because like a couple minutes later, this little girl with her dad, she probably was 4 or 5 years old, and she goes, "We can go in through that way." I'm like, oh shucks, I didn't have to bump my head.
Right. And then right after that, you know, we talk about white privilege. There was a white lady, you brought it up,
yes,
that said, I don't want to go in there because I'm claustrophobic. And it was just like the privilege of it all. You know, white folks always have the privilege to decide if they want to or not, you know, and when you said that, I was like, well, we didn't have no choice. You know, I'm 6 feet. The height of the doorway was maybe 5'8". I didn't have a choice. They wasn't gonna make it to accommodate my height. I had to bend down. But she had the privilege to say,
I'm not going in.
I'm not going in there.
But and the thing about it is, understand that what you see there is the actual size and everything, and it gives you the history of that particular who lived in there. The whole family and the 2 floors. The kids slept upstairs, the parents downstairs, and there was a little stove to keep them warm.
I mean,
It's
the
it's really something.
curation. I mean, you have the Black press, you have the Black church. I mean, every part of the Black experience, good or bad, is in that museum. I mean, even the cafeteria, we went and we had lunch. I mean, soul food, African food, healthy food, sweet tea. I mean, it just embodies the Black experience. And I think most importantly, like the Gen Zs and the millennials, they really need to go there because they're so far removed from the struggle, right? Gen X, I'm Gen
Well,
X.
so you bring up a good point. Um, and as you're talking, I'm thinking, why is it especially a good time to go now? Based on everything that's going on, it's good to see white folks and Asian folks and all these other folks in there too,
Mhm.
because at a time like this, it's a real interesting reminder of what they are trying to accomplish again under
Right.
this administration.
And then it really impacted me. We were talking about, Mr. Garcia, U.S. citizen that's now in El Salvador. Can you imagine what he feels like? But as we were walking through the museum, that's all I thought about was like, what if, because I speak my truth and I don't like the Trump administration, and ICE decides to come and pick me up and put me on a plane and take me to El Salvador, some other third world country, and my family can't get to me. That's exactly what they did to Black people from Africa. And so that museum is so important. And yesterday, Stacy, they picked up another student. I think he
Mhm.
went to Columbia.
Colombia.
He was going, they said that it was an appointment for his citizenship. Now he's had a visa. And he's been here for 10 years. They said he had an appointment for his citizenship, and when he got to the offices, ICE picked him up and put him in a car.
Yep. They were wearing masks. That's the thing that continues that bothers me.
KKK,
Yeah.
reminiscent of
They
KKK.
were in there. Yeah, at his appointment, Dr. Jones, they picked him up.
They picked him up. They set him up. They didn't pick him up. They set him up. They told him that he had an appointment for his citizenship. Do you know what that means for an immigrant to get a call or an email to say, "Hey, you're closer to your citizenship. We have an appointment for you." You rush down there with excitement, and ICE is there to throw you in the back of the car, and you don't know where you're going and how long, if you'll ever see your loved ones again. That's what the Trump administration is doing right now. So when you go to the museum and you start at the bottom floor and you see the history of the horrificness of slavery and what Donald Trump is doing.
I just have to say again, I wonder what's the plan? I don't really see plans from anybody. I see, yes, there's the Target fast, and there's okay, let's boycott this or that. What are the plans? Where AOC and Bernie are drawing tens of thousands of people for rallies. What's the plan?
All right.
Is there a plan? Somebody make a plan.
Well, we're going to go find out tomorrow at the mayor's conference. We're going to find out what's the local plan. What are cities doing? Because think about it, mayors, they're the ones that have the sanctuary cities. And they're the ones that control local politics. So we've been saying this. I know that you have your thoughts, Stacy, but we've been saying that politics are going back to local, which is a good time to go into this next story about Governor Gavin Newsom has approved $2.8 billion to help close the California's Medicaid funding gap. So this is a prime example of Donald Trump cutting something from a federal level, but the governor of California, Newsom, saying, well, we're going to fill the gap and we're going to make sure that our constituents in the state of California still receive their Medicaid. And that's what it's going to start coming down to, states governing as the federal government should. And then the only thing we have to be concerned about is southern states.
But the problem is to, like we talked about, Mayor Bowser. She capitulated and still lost. Are these governors and mayors, are they going to capitulate?
Well, I mean, you're gonna have some to do, and you're gonna have some like a Governor Gavin Newsom or like a Brandon Scott over in Baltimore, or even the mayor in Chicago. There was just a hearing last week. Your friends over at Flip Chicago was testifying for the Republicans, but they were mad because Chicago still remains a sanctuary city. And so you have these cities, these mayors, and these governors that are standing up. But then you have these southern states that are doubling down on the Trump agenda.
Mm. Well, I don't, again, I don't. It's going to be interesting. See, I don't see a plan. I don't hear about a plan. I don't hear people saying we're plan A.
Well, there is a plan. So, State of the People, they are rolling out there. I think it's like I don't know how many cities, but it's a multiple city tour. State of the People, which kicked off the night that Trump gave his joint session speech, State of the Union joint session speech, whatever you want to call it. It was organized by Angela Rye's producer. I think it was her brainchild, but Angela Rye, Joy Reid, Mark Thompson from Black Press USA, they all came together and did a 24-hour marathon. Everybody from Black leadership, any and everybody from Black leadership, talking about the Black church, Black politicians, Black community organizers, local and state elected officials, Congress members, they all participated in this 24-hour marathon. So from that marathon, now you have this tour that is going to go across the country to mobilize. And so you're looking for a plan. Maybe we start with State of the People.
I still didn't get a plan through all.
Because you don't want to hear one.
No, that's not
You don't
true.
want to
I'm
hear
looking for
one.
something that's not just going to tickle my ears. I want to see some.
Well, to me, it's not. Well, I see action. If you're in an organizer space and you're in conversations, I think we've been saying it all along. I think Bree Maxwell said it best. It's not going to be just one thing, because what's happening in California may not be the same thing that's happening in South Carolina. So we're living in a different time. It's not 1950s, 60s civil rights where it's a national. Now it's state and local.
Well, I just don't. I hear what you're saying, but I just don't get it. I don't see it. I don't feel it. I don't feel that people are really. I think people just don't know what to do.
Slaves didn't either, but they knew when it came time to run, you knew what to do. So when the time comes, you'll know what to do. When the time comes, we all know what to do.
Okay, if you say so, Niele.
Another story that I wanted to bring up was Trump ends Biden era policy of capping bank overdrafts. Now, Biden had capped the rate that banks could charge overdraft fees up to $8. Now, Trump asked this week a federal court to throw out the capping.
I did that. I did that story, and I had conservatives call me up and say, "Oh, that's wrong. That's wrong. He's not doing anything with the bank fees." No, he is. He Biden back in December, the Biden administration had that passed. They signed the order. It was passed through Congress, in fact, to cap these fees. And Trump, he took it away. And now banks are back to where they could just charge any and everything. So come on, let's be real here. These folks, they're doing what they want to do. They are hurt. It's like crash and burn. Let's crash and burn everything.
But I just keep going
back to the museum yesterday and just reading all of the things that white folks did, like the cotton. All of this is reminiscent of what happened during slavery, and it kept ringing in my mind. We coined the phrase, "We are our ancestors' wildest dreams." Well, all through yesterday in the museum, I just kept hearing, Niele, white folks, Trump is his ancestors' wildest dreams. Stephen Miller is his ancestors' wildest dreams. Because if our ancestors were slaves, guess what? Their ancestors were slave catchers, slave masters, KKK.
And Stephen Miller's having a ball, isn't he? He's absolutely enjoying every single second of this, at the expense of everyone. I don't, you have to be. It's like when we went through that museum, and of course, the basement and the slavery and the Emmett Till and everything. You have to realize that you're not dealing with people who have any semblance of human feelings. There's like the heart is dead. And that is what you get from folks around Donald Trump today. The heart is dead. There's no feelings whatsoever. And that's why they're carrying this stuff out in a way that even if you thought this was best to fire everybody, all these government workers, to take away people's Medicaid, which is, I don't see how you can justify that. Social Security was supposed to be the third rail. How do you do it so viciously, just without any type of, hey, we're doing this because blah blah blah, and we feel bad that you're hurt. They are trampling on people, and they are laughing about it.
Well, because they are their ancestors' wildest dreams. Ain't nothing new under the sun. Slave masters did it. So, I mean, they're their ancestors' spawns. So that's why they do it. It's historical. It's in their DNA.
Well, what can you say? Like I said, that museum, it puts you in a space. I don't care who you are. It puts you in a space where you have to reflect, and it gives you a perspective that some people who've never been there and they've been there for the first time, it may give them a perspective that they've never had before. I'm sure everybody's experienced something. Who's ever gone to that museum has experienced some sort of wow. Whether you can get a Confederate person to walk in there, and you can't. They'll feel uncomfortable. They're gonna feel something. It may not be pity. It may not be sorrow. It may not be apologetic, but it's gonna be something.
Well, they're not going to look you in the eye. You might have, you can tell sometimes when you walk by white, they won't even look at you, or they'll hold their head down. Or remember the white lady from Oregon came up to us. She didn't know what to say, but she just had to say something, like, I'm not like them.
Well, you put it to work too.
So, I mean, once again, please see the museum. We pray that it remains intact. But under this Trump administration and them living up to their ancestors' wildest dreams, we never know.
Yeah. Well, you got some quickies, don't you?
I do. I can lighten up the mood a little bit, folks. And so let's start with a little history and a little pop culture. So the NAACP, I don't know if you guys know, but they jumped into daytime TV. They did a deal with CBS to deliver the soap opera Beyond the Gates. Now, if you haven't seen it, it comes on channel CBS. I think it comes on I know it comes on at 1:00 Pacific Standard Time, so I'm not sure what time it comes on here, but it's crushing the ratings. Now it's beating General Hospital. So Sonny and Jason and Carly and all them knocking it out the box. And in key demos, it's up 78% from the top. Okay, so that's Beyond the Gates. Really good. It's a typical traditional soap opera. Lots of drama, lots of sex, lots of scheming and plotting, and bad acting, all mixed up in there, and it's just so good. So if you haven't watched it, go check it out. Have you seen it, Stacy? You do soap operas.
And how do you say it's good if it's all that bad acting?
I mean, it's like a Tyler Perry movie.
Oh.
It's like it's good. It's juicy. Always a plot twist. So check it out, Beyond the Gates. And then now let's talk about some HBCU headlines, Stacy. Fisk University junior Morgan Price. Now, Morgan Price is once again making collegiate gymnastics history. Over the weekend, Morgan won her second consecutive all-around national championship. And this was at the 2025 Women's Collegiate Gymnastics National Invitational Championship held in Shreveport, Louisiana. Now, Stacy Morgan was supposed to go to a PWI. And at the last minute, she changed her mind and decided to go to a HBCU. And it was crazy headlines about, oh my God, how could she do that? But it looks like she made the right choice.
Well, speaking of championship trophies, did you see what happened at the White House yesterday? JD
No.
Vance broke the championship trophy in half.
Oh, I saw that.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I tell you what.
But how we gonna dismiss? We talk about Black Girl Magic.
I understand that. I
We talk about
understand that.
Black Girl Magic.
But we could not let that go without mentioning just how horrible that whole space over there on Pennsylvania Avenue is. How do you break? That has never happened before. How do you break the championship trophy? Terrible.
Well, congratulations to Fisk University and Morgan, because that is awesome. And whatever JD Vance is doing,
I mean, listen, as somebody put in the chat, her floor routine is just it's almost unheard of what she's been able to accomplish. So congratulations.
Yeah, hopefully she's Olympic bound. Hopefully we'll see her in LA in 2028. That would with Jordan Childs. Let's bring the gold back home again, ladies. Let's do it. All right. Have you heard of Coachella? Are you familiar with Coachella?
Absolutely.
I'm just checking. What about you, Chad? Chad, have you guys heard of Coachella? Well, check this out. No, I don't think it's a California thing. I think it's a generational thing. But here, check this out, y'all. 60% of Coachella attendees, they finance their tickets. Okay. So to attend the festival, they decided to put the tickets on credit. This is according to Billboard magazine. Now, this means 60% of the 100,000 attendees are paying an average of $50 a month for their Coachella experience.
Well, of course, the big thing out of Coachella yesterday, I guess, or over the weekend, I should say. It's Tuesday, right? Megan Thee Stallion and Ciara performed together, and that's all folks could talk about.
Well, no, I mean, it was Ciara, it was Queen Latifah. Queen Latifah came out and did the UNITY. Mm-hmm. Another headline coming out of Coachella was Missy Elliott's performance. It was a lot of pop-ups. Another headline coming out is Chris Brown and Karrueche had a moment. And so this morning, they had to release a statement saying that they are not dating. It was just a one-time, crossing paths.
People could see that.
But they had to release a statement this morning just to clear the air.
Come on. No. Come on. If you saw the video.
All the blogs picked it up.
If you saw the video of their hellos and stuff like that, they just ran into each other. Come on, that. Sometimes we just put a little extra on stuff. I'm talking about they, not you, but they, these entertainers. There's no need for no statement. Give me a break.
Well, if you have 12 blogs putting out something, you have to, they felt the need to do it. I think it was important. I don't think it was important, but I think it could be necessary for them because you don't want things to fester, because the way media and social media now, a lie can become the truth and you don't know the difference between the truth or the lie.
Listen, this Major Boyce writes in the chat, smart folks, you talking about the $60 a month or whatever it is. He says smart folks would be saving their money. Anything could be on the way as far as finances are concerned. I'm with you on that, Major Boyce, 1,000%.
For real. Yeah, I mean, and if you've seen the videos, like they camp out there. They said that they were waiting in line for 4 to 5 hours just to get to their camping spot. I saw one camping spot. There was a snake slithering up. We're talking about they're in the desert. It's 150 degrees out there. They're using portable showers and portable toilets. I mean, I just exactly for what? You can go to Rolling Loud. There's so many festivals now that you can attend. Um, and then another thing that came out of Coachella was Travis Scott thought that he was going to recreate a Beyonce moment. And out of all those performances that happened, nobody has still not topped Beyonce's Baychella that she did for HBCUs.
I saw Travis Scott dancing with someone, just like a white lady, to Michael Jackson, and I thought it was pretty cool. I'm not. I always say this about folks. Not a Travis Scott fan. I don't really know his stuff. I just know of him, but I thought it was a really cool moment because this was not on stage or anything. This was on the side. This was something, it was really cool.
Yeah, if you have the money, Coachella can be fun. You get the house.
Like he was at the expensive side of Coachella, Yeah, it looked fun where he was at. Okay, it sure did look fun. All right, I got one more for you. Congratulations to Meghan Markle Sussex. Her As Ever debut collection sold out in 60 minutes. Now, this is after she debuted her show on Netflix, and all the white women were pissed off and saying she's not relatable, she's not real, this, because she's living the fairy tale life that they want to live. But I'm telling you, Black girls are loving it. And so some white women are too, but it sold out in 60 minutes. And now if you go on TikTok, you're running across all of these other Black women that have been living the Meghan Markle life before Meghan even found her Prince Harry. Okay. There's this one Black girl that I started following because of Meghan sent her a gift bags, right? So Meghan sent this Black girl on TikTok an As Ever gift box, and it came with her jams, it came with her teas, and she has crackers and she has pasta and all this thing. Well, this Black girl, she lives on a winery. She's married to a white man, and she has farmland, so she don't go to the grocery store for nothing. Everything she makes there. She doubled down and made Meghan this beautiful basket and sent it back to her with her flowers and her lavender and her honey and her tea and her homemade jam. And I was like, see, look at what Meghan Markle is bringing out. Like, people are living their Black best lives, and we don't even know it. So I thank Meghan Markle for that, because she's living outside the box.
So you said Meghan Markle Sussex. What's the deal with that? That's not her name.
Well, no, it is her
name.
She's
the what is she? The Duchess of Sussex.
No. She said
this is out of her mouth. This is out of her mouth. Okay, so she's respect crazy. The lady. She's crazy. She told on her show, one of her friends were over, and her friend called her Meghan Markle, and she goes, Meghan goes, my kids and me being married, I'm a Sussex now, and my kids are Sussex, and I want to be. How are you going to tell her how she identifies?
Black card. She's done. She's cooked.
Somebody gonna take your Black card in a minute.
They can take it. I'm gonna say, you took my Black card. Well, I'm African American. I got a Black card.
I mean, but to just be dismissive of how she wants to be identified is a bit much.
I'm just tired of people like that. She's living her privilege too. Oh, go away. Go back to England. I'm done with her. Finished. Kaput. Yeah, look, gotta get under Niele's skin. Try to get under her skin. I know, I'm trying. Give me some credit for trying.
No, I'm not. Now is the time you really can take somebody's Black card. Who you got?
Oh my gosh, I couldn't wait for this one. So many contenders today. And like I said at the top, Barack Obama was on the top of my list too, right? He was on the top of my list, but we're not going with old Hussein. We're going with Wallo. Wallow.
Now, who was Wallow for those who don't
Oh
know?
gosh, he's the rapper, right?
No, Wallow is not a rapper. He was in prison.
Yes.
And he made good on his life. He works with Reform Alliance, which is Jay-Z's organization, that helps prison reform.
He's not a rapper.
No, he's not.
He's never rapped.
No, he's not a
I
rapper.
heard him rap before.
I mean, I've heard you rap before too, but it don't make you a rapper.
Jay is hard as.
Not a rapper though. He's more of a motivational and inspirational type guy, and he also hosts a podcast, a very popular podcast. Very good friends with Deion Sanders, and just anybody in hip hop. But he is also about prison reform. And every morning he delivers an inspirational video just on how to overcome obstacles and live your best life.
Okay, so he was inspired to talk about how Black businesses, he made it a point of letting people know that he's not going to support all Black businesses, and how he did it. I think we have a video of how he did it. No, okay, we don't have a video right now, but anyway, he addressed the notion that Black-owned businesses deserve support solely based on race, right? But here's the thing. Here's what I say. Does he put that same energy, that same standard to the Chinese restaurant that he goes to the Mexican restaurant that he goes to when he going to buy those Italian shoes? Yes, listen, folks will shop where they can get quality in a lot of cases, a good price or whatever. And I understand this idea of, if you got trash, I'm not going to buy it. But why use your platform that way to say, to specifically talk about Black businesses? Black businesses are struggling enough.
Oh, let's hear. I'd love to hear.
Us. Oh, I'm Black. No Black people. Nobody gives a fuck about that. Kill that shit.
Okay, now.
Either you got a good business or you don't. All that shit, don't nobody want to hear that shit. That's a hustle. Support me because I got a Black business. Is your restaurant clean? Is the food good? Do you got consistent cooks? Is the material of your shit good? Stop doing that. Oh, you support the white people? No, I support consistency, baby.
Yeah.
Don't fuck about what color you is. I'm gonna spend my money. That paper, I'm gonna spend them deals where the fuck I want to spend it at. Whether it's Porsche, Ferrari, Land, I'm gonna do what the fuck I want to do while I'm here. But I'm gonna tell you one thing, I ain't gonna be finessed off some Black shit. But one thing about it, some people listen to you motherfuckers is not going to make it. I'm not no motherfucker.
Do you support a business even if it's bad business just because it's Black owned?
Yeah, listen. As I said, I get the idea of right. And I see, and Orange G says, "Well, it's trash for that," and I agree with him 100%. Why use your platform?
Is there anybody else?
Yeah, I'm looking for anybody else can chime in, but why use your platform at this stage of the game to do that? What was the point?
I mean, this is all I say. It's one thing of many that he does out the day. Okay, so if he does 20 things out the day and he decides to use one to have a conversation about that,
it's like going in space. It's like going in space right now. It's just ridiculous. When he gets his N-word moment, he will be calling Black people for help, as Orange G said. I get it. I get it. It's just, come on, we can do better. We can do a whole lot better than that. So no cookout.
Well, he can come to my cookout.
I know he can.
I'm not taking this, Black. Wallow, you're welcome over here.
Yeah. Keep it moving, Wallow, with that. Keep it moving. Tell your story, walk and tell your story to Trump and other people like him. Black history facts. We got a couple, don't we?
Yeah, we do.
All right. So I will start it off because on this date in 1888, A. Philip Randolph, a major force leading the 1963 March on Washington, was born in Crescent City, Florida. He later moved to Harlem. As we know, he became an actor after graduating from Cookman Institute. And his most noted accomplishment was speaking at the March on Washington. He also received the Presidential Medal of Freedom from Lyndon B. Johnson for his dedication to labor and civil rights. He died in 1979 at the age of 90.
Now was he the leader of
The NAACP, right?
Yes.
Right. And he was the one that was instrumental in getting Baynard Rustin at the table for the Civil Rights March, right? Right. Yeah. Yeah. He was very instrumental in that because at that time, everybody wanted to push Baynard Rustin away from the table because of his lifestyle and other, reasons. But A. Philip Randolph was the one that was like his idea, his vision. Who's gonna do all the organizing? It's not gonna be you, Martin. It's not gonna be you, Whitney. So let this young man do what he's gonna do, and I'm glad that he advocated for Baynard Rustin.
You know what I learned? I learned from Andrew Young that Martin Luther King Jr. was chosen by older women to be the leader of the civil rights movement. And it didn't surprise me, but I didn't know that fact.
And what did he say the reasoning was? He was sexy?
No. So the story from Andrew Young was that King was very quiet, kept to himself, and when he went to church, he sat in the back. He just observed, very observant individual. And they were looking for somebody. They said, somebody's got to take the helms here. Somebody's got to take the lead here. And it was the older women who told Andrew Young and what's the, who I'm thinking of?
Whitney?
No, his friend who people say sold him out at one point. You know who I'm talking about. King's friend who Abernathy. And they said, no, we need somebody. It's interesting. We need somebody young. We need somebody who is smart. And they looked at King. King was like, not me. But they said, no, you. And it was them. And Andrew Young said the older men in the church said, well, we should listen to the women. And he said, they got it right. So there you have it.
Well, some would argue that now, but we love Dr. King. Dr. King did it all. But I think that
one of the things that came out for me, which I was happy to learn about the Big Six, it was like, behind Dr. King, there was a movement, and it was the Big Six, arguably the Big Seven, because you can't leave Dorothy Heights out of that conversation. But it was a collaborative movement with Dr. King being the figurehead. And I think, those are some of the things that you can learn at the African American Museum too. There were many parts that helped that civil rights movement. There we go, the Big Six. And like I said, argumentatively, Dorothy Heights needs to be on that picture. But at that time, women weren't.
It's what you won't find at that museum. Dr. Nicole says that, by the way, this is leading somewhere. The rant against Black businesses was unproductive and disrespectful, just totally uncalled for. You won't find that at that museum. You won't find throughout the struggle from slavery through civil rights, somebody using their platform, whatever that may have looked like back then, to downgrade, denigrate, insult, and otherwise disrespect fellow African Americans or Black folks. There you have it.
We're gonna agree to disagree.
Give me another Black history fact.
So on a anybody like jazz out there? On this date in 1894, Bessie Smith, known as the Empress of Blues, was born. She came under the jazz age. She was also inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1989. And she's often regarded as one of the greatest singers of the era and was a major influence on fellow blues singers, as well as jazz vocalists. And there's a movie about her life that I believe Queen Latifah played Bessie Smith.
Well, you can see that too, right? Look at that picture. You could see Queen Latifah in that role. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And real quick, it is the anniversary of Jackie Robinson breaking the color line to 1947. So wanted to make sure we mentioned that. We have talked recently about Jackie Robinson, so certainly wanted to just throw that out there. So there you have it.
Yeah. We saw him yesterday at the museum too. Not physically. Well, physically, but not.
Well,
not physically, but we
did you see it?
He was on the wall. He was on the wall.
Our Black-owned newspaper of the day. You ready? It's the Toledo Journal. The Toledo Journal is a National Black Chamber of Commerce award-winning newspaper. It is the oldest African-American owned newspaper in Northwest Ohio, proudly serving Toledo and Northwest Ohio communities since 1975. The Journal is published every Wednesday, and it reaches over 70,000 readers weekly. And of course, if you go to their website, they just like everybody else now, they're daily. So check out the Toledo Journal.
All right, and for the latest in Black news and headlines that uplift and impact the Black experience,
Head over to BlackPressUSA.com.
And keep checking us out. We're going to have on the Smithsonian National Museum of African American History and Culture. It's really important that we keep this history intact, that we continue to make sure that there is recorded history and unerasable history as they're trying to do. So stay tuned. We're going to bring you a lot more of that on Let It Be Known. And thanks again for watching and putting up with us. I have to put up with Niele, so we'll see you tomorrow.